Yo, what's up, my people? It's your baby boy KCZ. Welcome to the Masterminds Podcast, episode 11. In the building with me, I have Mr. John Kambita. What's up, my bro?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Hit it. Yeah, so we are still social distancing here, and I still have him in the building, but we are still maintaining the regulation given by the government, like 1 meter social distance and masking up, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we want to talk about a few things, not quite a lot, but we just want to discuss a few things that we can discuss concerning things that are affecting us and things that are just going on in the world. So before we tackle the COVID issue or whatever, I would like you to talk about who you are. Who are you at the moment? Introduce yourself to the people so they know who John Kambita is. Who is John?
John Kambita is just a very simple guy.
Simple indeed, right?
Yeah, very simple. Anyways, they'll get to know more as we go on.
Right? Yeah, that's good. So you did environmental health, right?
Yes.
Just like me. So you're a best person to discuss COVID as well, the prevention, the control measures and all that. But we don't want to talk too much about COVID because like in the previous episodes we've discussed COVID a lot. So I know what you're good at. So the reason why I called you here was sports. I want us to tackle more on sports. Speaking of sports, today the Bundesliga opens, right?
Oh yeah, the Bundesliga opens today.
So how is it going to be? Are we going to see fans in the stadiums, or it's going to be behind closed doors?
I think for the first 3 or 4 games for each team that's going to play, they are going to play behind closed doors. They want to observe how the games will go on and the response. If there are going to be new infections from the matches, then they'll continue like that with no fans. But if there are not going to be any infections, then fans will be allowed in the stadiums. Probably maybe
after the fourth
games. Yeah.
What about the Zambian Premier League? Because we've seen they've changed the calendar, and then just immediately when they changed the calendar in the first season after changing, and you saw what happened. So how is it going to be? You know more about that. So how is the Zambian Premier League going to be?
Actually, the Zambian Premier League, what they've said is if they had written to FIFA, they said if FIFA wants the Zambian league to finish, then after this season they'll go back to the previous season, whereby they'll be starting their season in May, not the European one they've adopted. So this year, the next season one they'll start in May. Yes, the next season
in March, right?
March.
Yeah. So now why do they want to do that though? Like because of the same COVID issue or
not really, but the time, because we're supposed to start another season in August.
Yeah, so that this is not going to work.
Yeah, this is not going to work.
But now after they do that, are they going to go back to the European kind of arrangement again?
No, I think they have failed because even the rain pattern doesn't allow.
It has failed.
Yeah, it has
so
failed.
So they want to change permanently.
They want to change permanently.
Shit. But now, how do the European people manage that one? Because they also have rain that side.
I think maybe it's the rain pattern that's different. Maybe
that's why it's like that. So they want to go back to the normal
arrangement.
Okay, so it's a good thing then. But speaking of sports, what about we've heard golfers have been allowed to start. Is that sport really eligible to start, or maybe it was just a fast move by the government to do that? Like, what revenue does golf bring to the nation?
Except for huge sponsorships, I don't think it's a very important sport in Zambia.
In Zambia in particular, yes. Right? And then the president just opened. What's this? Victoria Falls. Just about 2-3 days ago, the president just opened Victoria Falls. He declared it open to the public Zambians, because we saw like it's got like the most water, whatever it has ever recorded in the past 4 to 5 years. And they said we don't want that water to just go to waste, so let us open it to the people. Do you think that's healthy?
Not really. That's not healthy, because if you look at the first case that we had in Zambia, the first two cases, it was a couple from abroad. Now, since the Victoria Falls is open, probably we're going to have more cases that will come in Zambia.
That's the thing. So now, why is the president rushing to open things like this?
I think his main concern is the economy. But in as much as we all know about the economy, a dead economy can be rebuilt. But then, if people die, how are you going to work?
Because what people are trying to avoid is to make Africa the epicenter of COVID. Because once Africa becomes the epicenter, like who's this guy? Bill Gates predicted that Africa is going to lose about 800,000 people are going to die out of COVID. So, which was not good, like according to his predictions. So, if Africa becomes an epicenter, this is a very huge risk on people. And then it's like these people are not taking it serious. According to what I've noticed and what I'm saying, I don't think the Zambian government is taking this COVID thing serious. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're not taking it serious, because I think it was just yesterday when I was checking on BBC, the reports that they give, it's quite different to what they give us here in Zambia. Because on BBC they were showing to say Zambia has recorded about 52 deaths. And
52 deaths?
Yes, and then in the actual sense here in Zambia we only have 7 according to the reports.
So now, where is BBC getting the information from? Because you have to get the information from the Ministry of Health, right?
I think it's the Ministry of Health giving BBC, because the BBC wouldn't just publish information that they haven't gotten from anywhere. I'm sure they have a source within.
So, 72 deaths or 52?
52.
Wow, now that's questionable. that's so questionable, you know what I mean? So now we've been joined in by Mr. Webby, the president of the University College of Health Sciences. He's just coming to join us. Bro, what's up?
Hey man, how are you doing?
You can come near to the mic, just don't be near us, because, social distancing. So, so what's your take on this one? Sorry, why are you late? Why have you come late in the first place?
I was busy doing something, today it's a Sabbath. I was busy
Sabbath today, man. There's COVID. I want you to come near so that you can be close to the mic.
Yeah, I'm near. I think.
Or maybe just project your voice a little bit. So now, what's your take on you've heard that the BBC, I don't know if it's yesterday, they published 52 deaths of COVID, and yet we only know about 7 deaths of COVID. Where did the BBC get the information from?
Yeah, first of all, according to what my former president here has said, BBC will not give the information which they've just decided to give people, but then they get the information from the leaders of the country. Mm-hmm. So the leaders of the country are the ones to give the update, what is happening. They will ask you so that they can tell the people that what is happening in Zambia is this and this. So definitely, obviously, it should be the Minister of Health who gave that information to the BBC or these top leaders that this is what is happening, which that is wrong. That's why even up to now, we as Zambian, we want to adapt the way of life these guys are using. These guys have just said to the Europeans country, right? Yeah. They just said, I think we are going to make COVID-19 to be just a part of us, just like
the HIV. Like the new normal, right?
New normal,
yeah. You must learn to live with it.
And you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not with the idea of the new normal. This is what the president said also when he was opening Victoria Falls. It was like, okay, let's under the new normal we are going to open this because of this and that. So I'm like,
but in as much as we should take it as a new normal, we should also keep in mind like the new normal is not like common malaria.
Yeah, that's the thing. The new normal is abnormal, bro. Like this, this new normal isn't just normal.
Now here's the thing: we're scared of the economy,
yeah,
and that's the reason why our president is reopening some of the things. Now look at this. he has opened schools, these people that are in examination classes, starting from secondary level, even to these people that are in the final year students to also open. Now, just after opening, look at the number, the cases that we've recorded. The moment he announced to say, or he declared to say, restaurant and secondary should be opened on the 1st June, we had 85 cases.
I've noticed that restaurants these days in town are packed.
Exactly.
Yesterday I was in town, I found a restaurant packed. Hungry Lion, there's a lot of people in there.
I don't know how you can relate this. The moment he declared to say, we are
I get it.
Open. Then we had more than the cases that we've
because when the president made that made that address, he announced 17 cases.
Mm-hmm.
The following day after that,
it was
85.
Yes.
The day after that, we recorded 15. The day after that, 205 or whatever, 20 something, if not 170 something, 175.
I think the day before that it was 0.
It was 0.
It was 0, right? Oh, you went to 0, yes. Which was questionable because me, when I hear 0 cases,
and then
I get questions like, why is it 0? Did you do anything? Were these people on off or on holiday? Because you cannot record 0 cases. That is
and
impossible.
Then the following day you record about 205.
205.
I think to me, it's like the Ministry of Health is trying to pose a threat to the president. It's like they're not in favor of the president's decision to open these things.
I don't think that's the case because like they are one. They are the government.
Exactly, they are. But some certain decisions it's making without even asking or consulting.
How do you know they haven't consulted?
No, I think the president is innocent because whatever he
just reads what is
reads. So I'm sure the person that writes for him
knows. If you say
because he only comes on TV and starts reading.
Exactly.
He doesn't know shit.
So he doesn't know anything.
That's good. But do you know? Do you guys agree that these cases that you've recorded, like 205 and 85, they're real cases that they are there from 0 to 205? Is it true that you have these cases? And if it is not true, why have they decided to put this number or to raise the number up to 205 when all this was they were not?
I think the question should
these are not the guys who are raising the number.
No, I think the question
the cases are the ones that are raising that.
So now the test that had no positive result, were they taken from the same place where they got 205 the day after? Or maybe it was another area targeted where they did not find any case. I think that's the question we should ask.
Because now, obviously, bro, the time they found 0 and the time they found 205, whatever, these guys are only focusing on the epicenters, yeah? Kafue is not the epicenter, but it's just, I don't know, it's a danger, I don't know, a range.
Because Chirundu has cases.
So they're targeting Chirundu, Kafue, Chilavombwe, Chingola, Ndola, especially for now, Lusaka and Nakonde, right? So the same Nakonde area that they tested is the same Nakonde area they tested the following day and they found these cases. So my question, I know my concern is like we can't rise from 0 to 72 to 05. That's
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Now look at this.
Unless they tell us to say they were off or on leave, they didn't work on that particular day, but they just didn't announce.
They announced to say out of about 293 tests that were done in the last 24 hours, no positive case was recorded.
So it means these cases, I know these things are questionable. This is why people now are saying COVID is fake. I'm not saying this.
Exactly.
People now are saying COVID. They're faking
they've got
this.
now doubts. Now listen, they open churches, right? The moment they open churches, now we will start having now more cases. We never used to have cases before the churches were open.
But I think...
But now, when you look at the cases, where the cases are coming from, they're not coming from churches, restaurants, or whatever. That's why these cases are coming from the borders, mostly.
Don't you think our leaders somehow they're not understanding each other? Because if I tell you that these cases, if they are not real cases, meaning that there's someone who's trying to alarm the situation so that people can rise against the president for the decision that he has made. He has meant to open the schools. Well, I mean, the churches and other big things.
Okay, so I get it. I get your point. You mean like since these people are giving the president fake things to announce so that the president should look bad, right?
No, not really. So who's giving the president?
The Ministry of Health.
No, the president has a special assistance for public and.
Yeah, but that's special. But the same person gets information from
the same person is the one that brings information to the president.
Yeah,
and
but
then
that
the
person gets the
president
information from
takes it as
the
gospel
MOH.
truth because that person has taken it from
The MOH.
MOH.
So now, when the president gets that information, right, he reads it, he announces, he makes. Okay, what the president does, yeah. Let's say we get 5 cases every day, right, and then these cases are coming from, let's say, bars and hospitals. Bars and restaurants. The Ministry of Health makes decision based on the information, let me say the data which they get, according to where they're getting information from. So when they are getting information to say these cases are coming from the borders and they're coming through borders, the measures they're going to put in place are those that are going to strain borders and nothing else. But if they discover to say they've started getting new cases from, let's say, hotels or lodges, they're going to put in measures that are going to strain hotels and lodges. You get? But now, so the reason why they've decided to open schools was, like what the president said, as I quote, if I heard him correctly, he said, from now, as I make these pronouncements, we're going to open schools on the 1st week of June, depending on how the data or depending on the information you're going to receive from now till then. If there's going to be more threats from that time till 1st of June, then they're going to change the decision. They're going to reconsider the decisions they've made. So now let's see what's going to happen. But what I've seen with the rising of the cases, because in Nakonde there are schools, in Chirundu there are schools, in Lusaka there are schools. Lusaka is an epicenter, right? Mm-hmm. Here there are schools in here. In Chingola there are cases, there are schools. So what I'm saying is that from the rising of the cases, let's see what they are going to do. If they're going to go ahead and open schools, then I'm going to question them.
Exactly. But do you think opening of churches and these restaurants is a good idea?
It's not a good idea at all. According to me, nothing is a good idea to open at all. According to me, Zambia has to be on a lockdown, especially Lusaka and Nakonde. Total lockdown for about a month.
The president ordered the lockdown in Nakonde, but again, it was just a day. They opened,
which is not good.
And then they said we can only allow essential trucks to enter the country.
And then truck drivers are the
ones that are bringing this coronavirus.
Mostly it's truck drivers and sex workers from the borders.
Exactly, because I last time when I was reading something on the newspaper, I read about these sex workers at about I don't know.
They're quite a number, bro. A lot.
They were found with the same COVID-19, but then the problem is, do you think those sex workers passed the disease to a lot of people?
They have.
That they were
definitely.
having sex with.
They definitely have.
It's obvious.
Because listen. These sex workers mostly sleep with truck drivers who come from different countries. You know what I mean? So this truck driver will come with a disease from, let's say, Tanzania, because Tanzania is an epicenter now for Africa, because they have a lot. They have a lot of cases as we speak right now. Tanzania, they have a lot of cases. So now, Tanzania being an epicenter, which means while there are 10 people, there must be one person who is sick. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now, those truck drivers are coming from Tanzania. They're buying food from Tanzania. They're lodging from Tanzania. They're doing things. As they come to Zambia, they come at Nakonde border. They start sleeping with these sex workers.
So
who live in the same place.
So are we going to record more deaths here?
Not more dates.
We're going to have more
not more dates, but more cases.
Why? The reason if we have more cases and then we don't have a vaccine, why are we not going to record more deaths?
The reason why we're going to
I think for now the temperature
Okay, listen. The reason why we're not going to have more deaths in Zambia is, let me give you the reason why the Western countries have been having more deaths. Do you know that the lifespan for Africans is lower than the one for yes. Those people live for up to 80, 90 years from the Western countries, but in Africa people live for 50, 60 years.
And that's the reason
so now listen.
Have more deaths.
So now, no. The reason is that those guys have more old people than we do here. So more, and you've seen how prone old people are to this. If you see the data, check the data. Most people that are dying are old people and those who have compromised immune system. If you are young, at least you must be HIV positive. But most people who are healthy and all that, I think most of them are not dying. If anyone has died and you don't have you're not an old person, you don't have this compromised immune system, maybe it's just about 0.2% of deaths. So now, here in Zambia, we have less old people than old people. Go to town. How many old people do you find in a day? You've seen mostly are youths. Even these people are getting sick. Mostly, if you check the people who died, 80 something, 50 chakuti, 60 chakuti. Those are the people that are dying. So now in Zambia, those sex workers, most of them are 30, 25, and they are young mostly. You've seen. So this is what I'm saying. Africa won't have more deaths, and then we have, like, according to the WHO and whatever, like Africans, our skin, the melanin, it's got a certain special immunity that declines certain diseases, according to them. So it's not like we are not going to get sick, no. But like the death rate, or let me say the chances of dying are quite less for us to die, for black people to die. Not that they won't die at all, but that's why we're recording less deaths. I think that's it.
All right. All in all, the current situation is not okay as at now. Here
the situation is really bad. It's quite intense. It's bad.
Really bad. So we just need to take care of ourselves. And now that they've opened schools, my question was, I was asking myself a question: is it okay opening the secondary schools or just these universities? Because I know people that are in universities, they're all big people. They're able to take care of themselves. They're able to.
But COVID is no such thing. All they have to do is, listen. Let me tell you something again. These guys are copying from the Western culture. You know what the English people have done? The British people, the people in UK. What they have noticed, according to their own researches and studies, they've discovered that young people who are about less than 10 years, they're not having severe cases of COVID, and most of them are not even getting sick at all, according to what they've come up with, according to their researches. So what they have done is that they've opened primary schools. Get? Because primary schools contain people who are less than 10 years mostly. Only primary and nursery schools. That's all. Big people, their schools are still shut and closed. But now here, what they've done is people in examination classes. What are they saying? Big people, grade 12 and grade 9s, and people in college, final years. Those are big people. So I don't know why they're doing this when they know. Like in Zambia, we don't have any research centers that we can say, okay, Zambia has researched this and they've discovered. We are being dependent on what is coming from abroad. Yeah. When they say, guys, we've discovered this, okay. When the CDC says start wearing masks, this one Zambia says mask up.
And I have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with masks.
No. With masks, yes, there's no problem. But the problem with us just waiting for other countries to do the research, then we can start. We have big universities, big institutions.
They don't trust their people,
but then they should learn to trust them.
But I think
just for once, try.
That's what they did in China, where the same corona started from. They did not close schools. They just made sure to say all the medical students should finish as quick as possible so that they can help the government in doing the research on how to go in. But in Zambia here,
they've closed
universities.
So now when it comes to, okay, you know what, these guys, how these guys operate, they operate intelligently and foreseeing the future. What do I mean? They look at the thing that's going on. This is COVID-19. It's a health disease. Why don't you close these schools of engineers and whatever and leave maybe health students alone?
Students.
You know what I mean? And then let's focus on maybe, let's say, final years. Those in final years, EHTs especially, public health students, final years, medical doctors, final years. Let's because if, let's say, at Onza they leave only doctors, the school is going to be empty, bro. It's only the final years. So social distancing will be easy, and all that. Even controlling those people is going to be easy. Because maybe they're only going to be, maybe, let's say, 100 and maybe 200 students.
Exactly.
And then let's say at a small university like Unicos, if they say only 30 years to remain, EHTs, maybe you're only going to have maybe not more than 80 students, maybe only 26 or 30 students, which is going to be easy to manage, because when those people finish, they take them in service. They're going to work. You know what I mean? They're going to work. They help combat this thing.
Moreover, they are health workers, and this is what they should do. And they are learning that at school to learn more about the same diseases that
because
are coming.
Thing, yeah, man.
So they shouldn't have gone home. Instead, they were supposed to remain in school, learn more about this. Try to research.
Does it mean the government has failed? That's why they've declared it as the new normal, or what?
That's the thing. That's what I think. Because when you say it's a new normal, it means you've been defeated. Like, bro, we're not doing anything. Let's just embrace it. You've seen do you see the approach that Sweden has taken? Mm-hmm. Sweden and Australia. They're not testing anyone. They don't give a damn about anything. All they do is that just go in there live your normal life. If you get sick, go to the hospital. They test you. If it's COVID, you treat you, go back home. Nothing has been shut.
Do you think that is
but now, no, it's not okay.
That's a new normal.
That's a normal. But now, you know what? Sweden has the capacity to handle such. But now the thing is that people are blaming Sweden. But like, you know, when you get their theory and their explanation, they're saying, you know what? If we close schools, we close everything, this is going to have a long-term effect on Earth or in the world than COVID itself. And then he gave statistics. Right? COVID will kill, let's say, where there are 1,000 people, right? I'm using small numbers. Let's say where there are 1,000 people, right? COVID kills at once. It kills, let's say, 100 people, which means you're going to remain for 900, right? At once, in a short period of time, 100 people die. And then, let's say we shut down schools, industries, and whatever. It's going to have a long-term effect, which is going to kill more than the number that COVID was supposed to kill.
Exactly.
So it's going to kill, let's say, more than 300 people from the 1,000. That's the approach they are using. But now, they are being condemned by CDC and what's this? And WHO. So guys, what are doing? But now, the goodness with countries is that every nation is entitled to their own health. They only get regulations from the higher authorities, the WHO and CDC, whatever. They just give them, but they don't force them to implement them. That's how it is. Even in Zambia, we get them, they don't force us to implement them. That's the thing. So now they've said, okay, us are going with their own approach. But now people are dying in Sweden. That's the thing. People are dying. But I don't know, maybe the president of Sweden is just trying to decongest the country and to reduce the population.
No,
I don't know.
What he's doing is wrong.
It's
As a
very
president,
wrong,
he was not supposed to declare that. In as much as he's the president, he's supposed to protect his own people, the people that he's leading. That's the reason why he's the president.
People, listen, at first, people were happy. But now, the same people that they noticed that people are dying, that's why now they started protesting. No, guys.
Exactly.
I think you wanted to send a message. So now people are going to be.
And then, again, that's the thing. He said, you know what? If we're forcing people to do this, people won't do it. But if we just let them, they just start hiding. Because people in Sweden are just hiding on their own. They're just masking up without being told. People are not moving around. If you go in town, it's like a lockdown. There's no one in town.
And it's not.
But there's no lockdown.
Any lockdown.
You've seen? There's nobody in town. You should go check on your YouTube or something. There's nobody in town. Towns are empty, but there's no lockdown whatsoever. People are just in homes. So I think, I don't know, maybe it's a psychological thing, he's trying strategy or something like that. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's what he decided to do.
But the only thing I miss about COVID, the only thing I miss right now is soccer, man. Like, I don't care whatever, but I just want soccer to come back, man. Especially EPL.
Especially the EPL.
And then what about the EPL? How far? What's the decision?
EPL, they were told to say they should make a decision before June 30. So
June 30.
yes,
To do
June
it.
30.
What decision? Like to what
What
they're going to do
decision
next?
is first there was an issue of teams to agree on using just 10 neutral stadiums
Why?
because they said some other stadiums were booked because they knew to say the season finishes in, is it May? March? Yeah.
For other sports.
Yeah, for other events. So they had already gotten money from the people that had booked stadiums. Now they want to use them because an agreement is an agreement. So that's why they said they should just choose 10 neutral venues. Now some teams do not want that. They want to play at their own stadiums. So I think that's why there's an issue. Yeah. And then they said if the EPL is to come back, they should use 5 substitutions. And then when you spit on the pitch, you're given a red card. And then you're supposed to change jerseys at halftime.
Oh, you wear
you wear new ones.
New shit.
But
And
then no handshakes whatsoever.
EPL has to come back, bro. No matter
Handshakes,
what. We live a we need to release that shit.
But do you think?
No, it will. It will.
It will come. Coming back, it will come back.
It will
Not
come back.
Okay, we don't know, but
I think June.
In June, it must come back. Maybe
June we should be watching the EPL.
This is what May, right? By June, maybe the second week or fourth week of June, we must.
They are
be
not ready
watching.
for it. I think first.
We must
Because,
be watching EPL. Trust me, EPL. I like the decisions those guys make. Like they're good at making decisions, the quick decisions. When it comes to FA, and then when it comes to intense decisions, and then they can make maybe they make it start. And then what about the fans? Maybe they can be sitting after one seat, another person, after one seat, another person. Let's say if the stadium is with a capacity of 50,000, they drop it to 25,000.
Maybe, but again, are they going to refund people? Because people buy seasonal tickets.
Oh, those who have already bought tickets.
Those who have already bought tickets.
Where did I hear this? Was it in? That was just in the time when COVID was just coming. When fans donated their tickets that they bought towards the COVID-19, the money for the tickets. You know what I mean? Like that was just the time it was just coming back. That's the thing. But anyway, we've discussed a lot, guys, and we have to wrap up now. We have to close the podcast. And nice to talk to you, Mr. John, all the way from Ndola.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe before we go, there was a debate that I saw online. Say who's the best between Eto'o and DJ Drogba.
Eto'o.
Yes.
Wait.
And DJ Drogba.
Drogba won how many African best player of the year?
I'm not so sure.
How many did Eto'o? I think Eto'o reached the Ballon d'Or. He was a Ballon d'Or finalist.
To me, Eto'o was the best.
I think Eto'o reached. Okay, Eto'o reached. He was a Ballon d'Or finalist, right?
Yes.
He was DJ Drogba.
No, I don't think so. But again, if you look at Eto'o, he was playing with
big people. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the thing. And then Drogba was playing.
Easy. And then Drogba was playing with average players.
And in the EPL again.
And then in the EPL.
So. Okay, looking at the stats again. Okay, you know, football is all about stats. That's the thing. Like how many goals has he scored? How many assists? How many trophies? But I think I'll go with Drogba, bro.
Yeah.
I'll go with Drogba because Eto'o was good. What about let's say these two, and Eto'o, Drogba, and this guy DJ Okocha.
I think Okocha was the best.
Okocha was the legend.
Okocha.
Did you check out his the friendlies they played at Nigeria versus, was it Nigeria versus something, or no, they had a friendly. I don't know which teams they were representing where Okocha was. I mean Eto'o was there. When Eto'o held him, like, no, this guy has to go out. Like, it's too much. That guy was best at dribbling, bro.
I think he's been the best ever.
Okocha is there, but so the debate still stands between between Didier and Eto'o. So people, you can comment down below who is the best, who you think was the best between Drogba and Eto'o, and we'll wrap up the podcast.